knows.
Well, the cables of the US Embassy Patriot Butins were also disclosed on the Wikileaks, and these cables were mainly based on the war crime allegations, purported war crime allegations, and the cables on the presidential elections early this year. These cables seem to be very controversial in the public domain, given the fact that the PR savvy Patriot Butins to talk something completely different to what she appears to be in the public. However, US rejected these cables in a way where they said that these cables are briefs. They are not necessarily the policies of a particular government. Those are mechanics or tools to use exchange the views of the diplomat crowd. So in that context, how can or should we be startled about it? I don't think that it can create a rupture between the two countries in its diplomatic relations.
The two things I think need to be talked about. One is the content of these cables, and the other thing is about just trivializing it and saying that it's just a brief. It's just a briefing note. It's not policy, but policy is made on this. This is not the this Patricia is not the the clerk who is in charge of putting a book from here to there in the United States Embassy in Colombo. She is the US ambassador. She is the top US representative in this country. What she says, Barack Obama is not in Colombo. Barack Obama is in Washington, or wherever in the United States he might be. He doesn't have his eyes and ears in Sri Lanka. He is his ambassador. So what his eyes and ears tell him, indicate to him, is what he will base his policy on. He or Hillary Clinton or whoever it is that formulates these things, right? So when she says that she tries to make out, one, that war crimes have been committed by, and that and gives the kind of signal that these investigations cannot go forward because the president and the two main political candidates at the presidential election were part of that whole operation, the humanitarian effort to rid the country of terrorism. So she is indicating that these two people and the defense secretary were guilty of war crimes, right? And then she goes out of her way to try and get a quote from some Tamil politician demanding an investigation. Why is she so upset? Why is she so bothered? It's almost as if she is driving the agenda of the Tamil community in Sri Lanka, or she wants to. That is mischievous. So when the note goes to Barack Obama doesn't know that, may or may not know that what this lady is up to here, but he will make his decision based on that. He could. His image of Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka's political processes could be informed by these. So we can't just toss it out and say, no, just a small note, random when she was having dinner or something like that. It is a very serious communique. And these things are taken seriously, obviously. So that is, it is very, very mischievous. Secondly, the other cable indicates a political preference for a particular political outcome. Maybe that is what suits United States interests, but that is not being diplomatic. You can't do that on the sly and then go and have tea with someone else and hug that person and say, I'm all for you. You can't do that. You cannot do that if you're a diplomat. I'm not sure. I'm not a diplomat and I don't know the protocol. I don't know whether diplomacy is supposed to be unofficially two-tongued. If that is the case, then it's all okay. This is all okay.
And can work on the sly.
Yeah, maybe that is par for the course. I don't know. But if it is not, if it is what it's made out to be, then it is out of order, totally out of order, in my opinion.
Well, can this situation create any ruptures between Sri Lanka and US relations?
Well, it depends. It depends on how these things, what weight this has. It does have weight. Sri Lanka has had friendly relations with the United States for a long time. I don't think that the people of Sri Lanka and the people of the United States, hate each other or anything like that. These are politicians doing their politics. They say they are looking after American interests, but I think that they are looking after American corporate interests. American corporate interest does not necessarily mean the interest of the whole population of the United States of America. So it can cause unpleasantness. It can cause. I believe that this lady has been informed of the displeasure of the Sri Lankan government through the foreign ministry, and that is as it should be. I don't think she has been slapped in her face or anything like that. She's been told, we don't think that this is being very useful. That is the most diplomatic way, let's say, of saying you're out of order. But that has been said, and I think that's a good thing.
Well, now Julian Assange and WikiLeaks talks a lot about the European bloc and the Middle East bloc, Iran, Israel, US war crimes in Afghanistan, and US treat towards Israel and its approach towards countries like Sri Lanka, which has won a war against a ruthless terrorist outfit, and which has a president who boldly said that he would be available to be present at any war crime tribunal to appear on his behalf or on his country's behalf, while she is working for a president who won a Nobel Prize. In my opinion, would have won by doing absolutely nothing. And Julian Assange does not focus or does not try to highlight the cables by the Asian bigwigs like India and China. Is it a result of Julian Assange?
Is he an agent of China?
Not agent of China. That he basically creates a situation that he admits that the more crimes are done in the European western part of the world.
Well, for a long time, what were our main sources of news of what's happening in the world? Western dominated media outfits or media outfits that privilege the Western view on things, right? So, for a long time the evil empire was the communist bloc, right? Then it became axis of evil in Iran, Libya, Syria, whoever, the Taliban. But it is not to say, it's not, no one would ever believe that any country is made of saints. We all know what the United States has done in Latin America, for example. We all know about Guantanamo Bay. We know about Abu Ghraib. We know about torture chambers. Now, that information we had to get from the alternative media, right? That was not made news in the mainstream media. It was very structured and moderated kind of news leaks, news feeds that we got about such atrocities. So, the world has always, I think, all countries have a certain percentage of really good, nice people, decent human beings who get upset about when bad things happen, and each country has a certain percentage of rascals. So, maybe it's been balanced off a little, but it would seem suspicious if in the future WikiLeaks or other such outfits leave certain countries out of the story. Bad news is bad news across the board. You can't have bad news only in North America. You can't have bad news only in Russia, as it has always been. So let's see dirt from all over, so that then we can see the good from all over also.
One of the main accusation by the US government towards the WikiLeaks is that these revelations can help the global terrorism. Is there any truth in that?
Well, I suppose from their point of view, they are trying to make themselves as make out that they are the saviors of the world. They are the the protectors of individual freedoms, human rights, and so on. So when that image gets cracked a little, their politics suffers. They can't sell their story. They will still go in with their guns and they will take the booty out, but still it looks ugly. Who wants bad publicity? Even a thief, he'd like to make it out that he's helping you, right? So in that sense, it's a come down for them. But does it mean that terrorists have got stronger? I am not sure, because I am not sure who the terrorists are. You know, who is killing the most number of innocent people right now on this earth? Who? Which country? Which group of armed people? Right? Which country has military outfits in 25-30 countries, more than that, right? And not operating according to rules and regulations that they want other countries to operate by, right? Is that not terrorism? Who has policies that impoverish people? Is that not terrorism? So I don't think terrorism has got a lease of life or something like that. Terrorism is terrorism. Terrorism was. Terrorism is. Terrorism will be into the near future, into the foreseeable future. Let's hope terrorism ends. Terrorism will end when we know who the terrorists are. You know, when all the masks come off, so that we know this guy is a terrorist, this guy is also a terrorist. I don't want him, I don't want him either. So Wikileaks, I don't think has empowered terrorism or terrorists. I don't think that has happened.
Well, now we are supposed to take the second break. I'll be right back on the other side.